Hello, my lovelies. Welcome to Key Wisdom Tarot. My name is Ruth. I'm your Reiki Master and Tarot Reader. And this, my darlings, is our first weekly pulse for May. So this weekly pulse, this daily pulse is going to look at the weekend energies, okay? So for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just to give us a little bit of a broader view and also to give me a chance to finish off your in-depth intuitive readings for each individual signs. I'm going to hopefully get those finished this weekend and post them on Monday afternoon. That's my hope. So this is gonna be it for the daily pulses until Monday. And thank you so much for the response to yesterday's reading. I mean, people are very keen to learn more about Reiki. And I definitely recommend, if you haven't watched yesterday's daily pulse and you are interested in higher learning, spirituality, gnosis, etc., really check out that reading, because it is peppered with a lot of one of the viewers said 7 different master life lessons I broke down in 40 minutes. So this is how we roll on Key Wisdom Tarot. So thank you very much for your feedback. So my darlings, it is the 1st of April. And we are going to start, as always, with the card that's at the base of the reading before we move on to the how did I forget the key message for this weekend, the what's facing us over the next couple of days, what might be hidden from us, and also where our blessing lies over this next couple of days. And we are back again, aren't we, with the number 4. It's the card at the base of the reading is the death card, and it's again a number 4. And the last time this came up, and it's come up, hasn't it, once before, during our readings. And I was so sort of saying to you guys, we're not thinking about this as a physical thing. This isn't a thing that's going to happen necessarily to you or anyone that you love or right now. These energies that we apply to ourselves, and this is the energy of transformation. Remember, this is the year of the number 4. Look at this. I mean, we've seen a lot of number 4s this week, haven't we? So we are, and I've mentioned the death card a few times in that vein. It's the year of number 4, 2020. And I started yesterday's video off by singing to you, didn't I? All we need is love, because number 4 is also the 4th chakra space, which is also about love. So I always have to remind ourselves. I always want to remind ourselves of that. So the card at the base of our reading today is a death card. And this is the energy of transformation. We understand that 4s are, we know our structures, the lives that we built. How is it working for us? The lives that we built, how is it working for us? Well, clearly, we're going through this energy of transformation. And we kind of, there's been hints of this, hasn't there, as we've gone through this week? There's been hints of this, hasn't there? And especially with yesterday, we had the 8 of the Wands, which is about new energies coming in. We've had the Wheel of Fortune again, which is about shifting our status quo, shifting where things are at now, bringing in new energy. So we've kind of been hinted at this week that change is really afoot for us, really. So this weekend is looking like a period of transformation for us. And remember, with the death card, with Scorpio's energy, so it's all about our emotional world. It's transforming. That's why it's not just change, it's transformation, because it's about transforming from the inside out, if you will. It's about transforming our emotional beliefs about ourselves, or about our emotional beliefs about our traumas that we've been through, or our emotional perspectives. It's really releasing that stuff to the point where you can't even remember how it used to feel that bad. Does that make sense? Now, that sounds dramatic, but that's how it works. The death card. It's like you. So, for example, because we're going to talk about traumas, because that's what this card's about here, isn't it? Past traumas. We're going to talk about trauma. So it's as if you've had this past trauma. I don't know. You've always thought that I don't know. All men are bad. Yeah. So, for example, I don't know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't think that, obviously. All men are bad, all men are bad, all men are bad. You've had this thought all your life, all men are bad, all men are bad, all men are bad. And that's because your mum and dad, this card here, your mum and dad broke up when you were a little girl or a little boy, and you've just never forgiven him, and so you've just never trusted in it. All men are bad, all men are bad, all men are bad, all men are bad. And then the work that we've been doing over the last sort of 6 weeks, and the focus and the meditation and the practice and the reflection and the noticing of our responses, we starting to release little bits of those things, and it doesn't seem as sort of pertinent to you now. And it's that type of transformative energy that's coming forward for you, for us all over this weekend. It's like things that you, beliefs and ideas and things that you held and thought about yourself, you thought about your past, you thought about men, or you thought about whatever it is you thought about. It's like those, not only of you do you realize, and you see this weekend, that I've released those things. It's almost as if you can't get back into that same mind frame that you've had for so long. It's gone. That hate has gone, or that pain has gone, or that idea that you had about whatever, men or this or that, is gone, and you can't even access. It's like the computer's been wiped. Yeah, the memory drive has been wiped when it comes to trying to feel that way that you used to feel, that you've always felt about this or about that. It's gone. That's what transformation is. That's what death is. It really is not being able to have, that's how I feel about it myself, not being able to have access to that feeling anymore, not being able to have access to that idea anymore, because it is not only disappeared from your, that seemingly disappeared from your memory, but it's the wisdom that has matured. It's as if that memory bank, if you will, so God, I don't know what I'm talking, you know why I'm talking about computers. It's as if that chapter's been rewritten. It's been completely rewritten. So you go back to that chapter called, okay, Why I Hate Men or whatever, and you open the file, and there's just love there, and it's just the stuff that you've learned. It's like, that it's the journey that you've been on now, the wisdom that you gained because of that pain. You see the wisdom, you don't feel the pain anymore. That's the power of the death card. That's a power, the transformative energy of the death card. And that's to see it. And I know we know what's going on. I mean, we know how awful and terrible it's been. And it's felt quite acute this week, actually, hasn't it? It has for me. I don't know about you. It's felt quite acute for me this week. But I tell you, I turned this over. And the first time I turned this over during the Daily Pulses, I was thinking, oh my gosh, people are going to get nervous and worried, and they're going to be afraid, and they're going to think something, someone's going to die or something. But people didn't think that. You didn't think that. And I was able to explain. And yeah, I didn't feel afraid to show you this card today when I saw it, when I turned it over. I was like, do you know what? Yeah, this is showing that we are completely rewriting some of our ideas. We are completely rewriting our perspectives. We are completely rewriting some of our emotional responses, simply because of the work that we've been doing, especially over the last 6 weeks. So that's a really beautiful thing to see. And then we move on to sorry, a long time on that card, but I really wanted to just explain that clearly for you guys. Okay, then we move on to so let's look at our key message for today. So our key message, I keep saying today because I keep on about the Daily Pulse, but it's for the weekend. So key message for this weekend is we are moving forward. And we're not only moving forward with clarity and determination, we're moving forward with confidence. This energy is the energy of number 7, the Chariot. This is also water. This is linked to Cancer. So we've got Scorpio and Cancer actually already. This is number 7, as you know. Let's say all together, my master number. And say it every time. And it's linked to your crown chakra, which is, and what we've been talking about today, all about our higher learning, all about our enlightenment, the development of our psychic self, or our divine feminine. Listening to those instinctual, emotional responses, engaging with the memories, engaging with the karmic lessons, if you will, of our experiences. This is what the number 7 represents here. And because it's the 7th chakra, I should say. That's what the 7th chakra represents, and it's number 7. The affirmation for the 7th chakra is I am, I understand. I've never sure, 7th house. So look at this. So it's about agreements, this card, actually. It's about 7th house. It's about agreements. It's the 7th house in what's it called? Astrology. Yes. Whoa. Okay, so the seventh house in astrology, if you look, marriage part, it's about all these things. Hang on, you can't see again. It's about, oh God, marriage partner, contracts, agreements, business partners, litigation partners, and agreements, contracts. It's all about, as you can see, agreements, agreements, agreements. And what the agreement is that we see here, and that's the thing that helps us to move forward over this next couple of days, is an agreement or a match or a balance between our divine masculine and our divine feminine. And we know by now, because I say it every time we talk about divine masculine and divine feminine, our divine masculine is our outward self, our outward facing self, the actions that we take, the things that we do, the experiences that we have, the path that we walk on, really. This is the divine masculine. I can't remember which is which, but anyway, this is the divine masculine and this is the divine feminine. And our divine feminine is the imprint, the knowledge, the wisdom that we gain, the understanding that we gain from the experiences that we have outside, from the things that we do. So what do we gain from that? What do we understand by that? Now, in order to propel ourselves forward with the Chariot, is we listen to both sides of ourselves. And as I've been saying over the last few weeks, or the last few days, I should say, that sense of that part of ourselves, that divine feminine, or that our emotional selves, our intuitive selves, more of us have been able to listen more clearly to that. More of us have been able to notice our emotional responses, our intuitive responses. We've been able to notice what goes on in my brain. What do I tell myself in my brain? More of us have been able to notice that sound, if you will, has been amplified. We've heard more, we've listened more. And because of that, we're able to move forward. We're able to propel ourselves forward. This is the energy of the Chariot. And this is also the energy, the key message for over this weekend, this first weekend in May. So, excuse me, I've got something in my eye. So, there we go. So, everything that we do this weekend, when the actions that you want to take, the actions that you want to take this weekend, over this next couple of days, in the actions that you're taking, you're also thinking and listening and responding to your emotional self. You're also responding to the new wisdom that you have now gained. And you'll realize, because you have released, because you have transformed, because you have gained wisdom, because you have increasing your higher learning and that connection with your higher self, you'll realize that I'm doing things differently. You're doing, or I should say, you're doing different things. And that's because, as I said, the hard drive has been wiped, the memory bank has been wiped in some specific area related to a trauma, or an emotional reaction. The hard drive has been wiped, and so you're realizing, oh yeah, I don't feel that pain anymore. It doesn't feel that painful anymore to do this. Oh, I can pick up a paintbrush again and do some art, or I can pick up that book again and go back, or I can look back at those photographs, or because that the pain's gone from that. This is a process that's going to be over the next couple of days, and it might feel I'm interested because I can already feel the healing even now, even when and you might say, Ruth, healing, we've got a broken heart and we've got the death card, but I can feel it even now when I'm speaking to you. I can feel that healing that we're all going to be coming into. It's beautiful, actually, because it's real. It's real. You actually, someone said to me yesterday, it was either Aries or Leo, because it's on the Aries and Leo videos, and he said, oh my gosh, I shared it on my Instagram story. He said, oh my gosh, I've just had an epiphany. He said, I always thought, Ruth, I always thought that I was the divine feminine in the relationship because I was the runner. He said, even though I'm a man, he said, I thought I was the divine feminine in the relationship because I was the runner. He said, I get it. He said, I understand. He said, I'm divine masculine, like we all are, and I'm running away from my shadow self, which is my divine feminine. He said, and my actual twin flame, my actual divine feminine, the person that is actually, he's in love with, or partner, whatever. He said, she's been the constant all along. She's been the one thing that's helped me to try to grow, to help me to try to transform. He said, thank you. He said, it's amazing. He said, I can't believe and I was bowled over. But that gentleman, I can't remember his name, and if I could, I wouldn't tell you anyway, because some people don't like to share the names. But he said, but that gentleman was absolutely spot on. He got the message in the video of what I was explaining about divine masculine, divine feminine, and he understood that just like all these energies, we are all of them. It's not somewhat people are masculine, and some people are, more masculine traits, if you will, and some people do have more, or display more feminine traits, if you will, or stereotypically masculine, feminine. But we all have all aspects of ourselves, and actually, it's that type of, oh my gosh, it is real. Like I'm learning. It's that type of real learning. It's that type of real difference that you're going to feel, that you're going to notice, and it's you might feel like you're having those eureka moments yourself. So let's have a look at some of the things that you're facing, or some of the things that we are facing. And it's this energy of the Three of Swords. We've not seen threes much this week. It was all last week was all threes, wasn't it? This week's been all fours. So we've got the Three of Swords. So we know that the Three of Swords has already happened before we get worried, but we're facing and confronting it this weekend. So the Three of Swords, sword energy, about our awareness, our engagement with our minds, our conscious minds, ability to apply logic and reason, our ability to communicate with ourselves, our ability for our divine masculine and our divine feminine to communicate with ourselves, or our emotional self to communicate with our mental self, if you will. So we can start to organize and understand that information. That's what the sword energy tells us, as I tell you every single day, practically. And this energy of the three, so remember, threes are about expansion, remember? They're about your self-confidence, self-esteem, your ability to manifest your power center. And so in this space, we are always growing. So in the third chakra, the third space, your power center here, in that space, we're always growing, because we're always seeing what we can do, what I can do. And we expand because we confront certain situations, and that is no more evident than in this energy here. This energy is simply about confronting the old. This is an old wound that we carry. So this is that we carry as individuals, whatever that is for you, I don't know. It's a way of thinking about myself, a way of thinking about yourself that was established long ago, but we really hold that in our minds, and it really does still, because we haven't looked at it yet, but we are this weekend, it really does still affect what we do and how we feel about ourselves, or how we see ourselves. So this could be, as I said, I call this a previous traumatic experience, or not traumatic, or a previous experience that sort of leaves us with an emotional scar, if you will. Excuse me. So this card really is about confronting our emotional scars. And you're not confronting everything. You're not confronting all the things. Or maybe you are. You have been doing work on a specific part of your life, a specific idea that you hold about yourself, a specific way of thinking about yourself, a specific way of thinking about a previous situation. You have been working, that's what the work is, isn't it? That's the mindfulness, isn't it? That's what I always talk about, that work. You have been doing that. We have been doing that. I have been doing that. And so it's that, whatever you've been working on as an individual, whatever I've been working on as an individual, that we're going to be really confronting the emotional wound. That's what this is. We're confronting the wound, not the emotion of it necessarily. Well, we are with these energies, but how that emotional wound affects my thinking. How does that emotional wound, how does that trauma still manifest in my thinking today? That's what you are confronting with the Three of Swords, and that's what we're confronting this weekend. This is about the connections that we make. This is about understanding that, for example, those of us that have had anxiety, as I said, I used to have anxiety, I realized once I started the meditation, I told you this story this week, so go back and have a look if you've not watched it. But when I had the anxiety, then I realized that. So, for example, you when you're anxious, your mind, you see you sort of, your mind scans and assesses your immediate surroundings really quickly. You could become so used to doing it that you don't realize that you're doing it. You don't realize that you're like, oh my God, like, you don't hear this, but this is what happens. You'll be like, right, okay, so I'm walking down the street, like, okay, that person, like this person, how many people are there? 7 people. Like, oh my gosh, this person might come up to me and beat me up, so I'm gonna like stand over. I'm gonna like make sure like I keep space between that person. I'm not gonna make any eye contact. I'm gonna keep my head down. And you have that sort of running commentary in your brain when you have anxiety, constantly. But it's so it became so ingrained in me, because I had it for 10 years, anxiety, that I didn't even hear it. I just didn't even hear it. And it wasn't until I started the meditation and the CBT that I was like, that I actually started to hear it, because my brain started to slow down. It started to slow things down. So that sort of, but then what I realized, when I realized, oh my God, that my brain has this running commentary going when I had anxiety, that's when I realized, oh my gosh, it's that is something that I'm doing. And if I can stop doing that, maybe I could feel less anxious. So I had that epiphany, an epiphany moment, if you will. I remember getting to the because it was, I had the epiphany on the way to see my therapist during a therapy session, because I used to catch the bus and I saw this anyway. I won't go into the story, but anyway, so I got to the doctor's surgeon. Was like, oh my gosh, Ramsha, I said, I've worked it out. I know what's going on. So we spent that session. I spent that session explaining to her what happened in my brain when I saw this bench when I was doing this assessment, and but I was able to connect that brain thing, what was going on in my brain, all that quick stuff. I was able to connect that to the physical manifestation of anxiety, which is the palpitation, short of breath, raising temperature, dry mouth, etc. So I was able to connect those two, because I thought, because I would just think, oh my God, I'm just ill, like I can't breathe, like I just think I was ill, for example, physically, but I wasn't. And I connected those two. It's those type, that was a long example, Ruth, those type of connections that you're making today, okay, between how the previous experience, how that emotional score, how that affects your perspective about a specific aspect of self, but also how it might manifest in a physical way. So those are the things we're confronting, and we're ready to. So let's have a look at what is hidden. Let's have a look what's hidden from our conscious mind. So we've got this. I think we're kind of getting used to understanding about number 5s as well. I've talked a lot about number 5s, and about how number 5 is a number of power on the tree of life, and how that's about our application of and the shifting of. So in this instance, it's about our awareness, isn't it? So we know that this is about a mindset, an idea that needs to change, and it's conflicting sometimes, or it's it can be, I mean, even look, he's holding in his hands the 3 of swords. Actually, he's holding in his hands the 3 of swords. So this is where we start to confront with the 5, and we start to move from our fixed, because remember, with the 2 of swords, we're fixed or committed to a way of thinking. We're starting to move from our fixed way of thinking with the 5 of swords. So for some of you, I know what's going to happen this weekend. You're going to be distracted. You're going to be sleepy. And then suddenly you're going to realize why. And maybe not you, because you guys are watching Key Wisdom Tarot, so you guys know, oh my God, like, we're going to be confronting stuff this weekend, like, I'm ready to do it. But I don't know if we're going to be necessarily focusing on that, but it's going to happen, because the transformation's already happened. So when you see this, I say this death takes a long time. It's not a slow process. Even in a physical sense, it's not a slow. It's not quick. It's very Excuse me, it is a slow process. It is a slow process. It's a very slow process, which means that if you see this card, then the transformation's happening. So the wisdom that you need, the emotional wisdom, if you will, the emotional wisdom that you need to transform these fixed ideas that you have about yourself, these fixed ideas that you have about your emotional scars and emotional woundings, you are ready to come into that awareness now. And that's what this reading is really about. It's really about coming into the fullness of your awareness. It's really about a rebirth almost. It's like being, it really is. And this idea of being reborn and all these things, and again, they seem like just words, but they are truly not. And the example that I gave you, and read that message, go to my Instagram and look at the Instagram story, because I've got that epiphany post, if you will, that the gentleman wrote yesterday. And really, it's literally like, oh my gosh, I never realized that about myself. I never knew that about myself. I never, etc. It's all that type of transformative energy. And it's not just words. You will feel differently. You will perceive or think of yourself in a different way, or think of not yourself or this situation, if you will, this circumstance or this thing that was traumatic. You will think about that in a different way. Your thinking will be transformed. How you feel will be transformed. And that is changing. The thing look at that for Tiny. I've not even seen Tiny. He went downstairs today, but he came just then. And what do we know about Tiny Dog? Say hello, Tiny. What do we know about Tiny Dog, good boy? We know that Tiny Dog is my angel, don't we? And we know that whenever Tiny comes to say hello, we've got to listen to the message, don't we? Yay, good boy, Tiny. So we know we're changing, don't we, baby? No, I hope you didn't see me then. Well, I don't care if you saw me. Right, like, you lie down, chill. Right, let's look at this last one. Look at this last one. Oh, he's staying. So, good point. So, that does mean, I mean, yeah, just because Tiny confirms it, it is true, okay? But truthfully, that is the path that we have been walking. I mean, I always put on my thumbnails. I finally got a chance to make some thumbnails the other day. I did a 12-hour day the other day. Don't even ask. I know we're meant to be on lockdown, but I worked for 12 hours. Anyway, and I spent time doing all the thumbnails. And I always put below, but next to my little man in Tiny's little picture, I always put, you're a spiritual path every step of the way. And really doing these daily pulses is lovely, because it really is every step of the way. And I say that today because I want you to remember this weekend that even if you feel, oh my God, I'm not ready for this. Oh my God, I'm not able to do this. Oh my God, this is too intense. Oh my God, this is a really intense moment or day I'm having. You are ready, because you have been walking through this process of transformation, walking through this process of rebirth, step by step. And I've been guiding you through it. And if you've missed some of the readings, go back, have a look. But know that you are ready. Know that even if it's challenging, difficult, even if it's intense this weekend, even if you're tired, whatever, however, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be like that. All I know is Death Card, this energy is tiring and exhausting, because as I said, the amount of energy it takes to get to this is a huge amount. So when we see this energy, we know that you've already been putting in a lot of work. And so you might be physically tired. But I don't necessarily get that impression, but you might. But no matter how intense, no matter how challenging, no matter how, you are ready to face it. You're ready to see it, and you're ready to transform from it. You're already transforming from it. What am I saying? Look at this. What am I saying, people? This is the blessing. And I feel like I could sing right now. I feel so happy to see us as represented as a Queen of Wands. Okay? Because, did I tell you about my synchronicities this week? I keep seeing the cats. I told you, didn't I? And I keep seeing the cats. And I just love, I mean, the universe is, I always say to the universe, you've got the best sense of humour, You've got the best, because the universe does not relent, man, until you get the message. The universe will keep giving you the message We'll keep giving you the sign. We'll keep giving you that same number. We'll keep making you wake up at that same time. We'll give you that same dream. We'll give you that same image coming to your mind. We'll make you feel that same way every single, until you understand and acknowledge that, okay, I need to engage with this. Okay, I need to react to this. Okay, I need to notice my reaction to this. And this is really what this card represents. It's understanding, because it's our divine feminine selves, our divine feminine side. And also I love it. I'm smiling when I see this card. I'm smiling because those synchronicities are going to happen this weekend for us. We might, however it happens for you, dreams or sleep or whatever, it will happen. And, again, we have this alchemical symbol of enlightenment. And I only drew your attention to that yesterday, didn't I? Because it's on one of the cards that we looked at yesterday. I think it's temperance or whatever it was. I can't remember. The expansion really that comes with the response. Now, remember, the one energy is related to our chi, our ki, our life force, literally the force that moves us and animates us. And the queen is understanding, i.e. as opposed to actions. It's about understanding, okay? As in divine masculine is actions and divine feminine is understanding, or the imprint that our external experiences have on us. So it's understanding. And it's about, as I keep saying to us, about noticing our instinctual, it's about our instinctual responses, or our automatic responses, or the automatic reactions, if you will, that we have to what's going on in our lives. And the queen, look at this beautiful and mature energy. Remember, I say that these are always about change. These cards, remember, the queens of kings, they're about maturing awareness and engagement with certain aspects of self and certain dimensions of our reality, if you will. And this is what we see here. We are in a place where we understand our emotional responses, our instinctual responses, our intuitive responses. We are maturing into a place where we understand what those responses are. We understand our connections. It's also about connections, this card. Our connections to our higher self, our connection to God, if you call it that, universe. I mean, I say universe, you say God, whatever, it doesn't matter. Angels, spirit guides, whatever your beliefs or experiences, your personal experiences. This is about, again, noticing those responses, and not just noticing them, but understanding them, and being able to therefore react to them and then move forward with them. Okay, that's what we see here. So that is a blessing. This is what I want you to understand as well. The blessing is, it is real. The change in your mindset, the change in your perspective, the increase in your sensitivity, it is real. And the queen tells us that you will know that and feel that this weekend. So it's looking like a good one. I mean, I'm happy to see these energies, and it's such a supportive we're being comforted, we're being supported, we're being protected, we're being looked after. As I said, you might say God, you might say spirit guides, whatever it is you say, and whatever it is you feel works with you, you will feel their support or his support or that support this weekend. And you should have maybe felt it actually this week anyway. If you haven't, it's there with you. So just notice it, because I've noticed it very close. I mean, literally close like this to my face. Like, I'm like, do you want to step back a bit? Do you know what I mean? Do you know? No, it doesn't. No, I'm laughing because I always say, when I cried over there, I showed you my nana, and I'd be like, I'm like, my nana. And I always meditate over in the corner, in my little, that's my meditation corner. So that little thing there, that's a meditation cushion thing that, yeah, tiny, obviously that's tiny. That's a little meditation cushion that I sit on. It's really comfy, and I sit on that. But what I actually did, and I meditate every night before I go to bed. But what I did this one day this week, after the crying, I think, with my nana, is I come and sat here. So my nana was up here, because as I said, none of this is here. I move it, and my nana's here, and I just put my head on here. After the meditation, I put my head on here. I'm doing, oh, nana. I'm like, oh, me nana, love you. And my nana, I feel her presence. Let's say that, you know, I feel her presence with me. She's with me in that moment. And when I'm here and I'm sat there and I'm looking at my nana and I'm talking to my nana, she's with me. So it's really nice to feel her closely. And I mean, maybe when we start doing those higher learning videos, those more key wisdom videos, I'll explain a little bit about that. It's quite hard to really talk about ascended masters and spirit guides, and you know, I can tell you about them, but it would, I mean, forget 40 minutes, we'd be here all day, love. So when I do those are the readings. I'll be able to do more of that next week, so it's really good. So my darlings, I'm going to leave it there, but because I don't want to go on and on. But just to tell you, as I said, that I'm going to be doing your in-depth readings for each of the individual signs. Once you see the time period they're covered, then you'll understand why I'm now able to, or I will be able to, include the other content which I want to include, which is the astrology. You're getting that anyway. We know that we're in retrograde season now. The planets are all in retrograde. Oh, not all in, but they're going into retrograde. Excuse me. Over this next month, so over the month of May. So I've been talking about that in the astrology. I'll be able to fit in the videos about, because I did write something about the unsplit nature of reality, but I thought, is anyone gonna? I wrote this back in. Well, you can't read it because it's digging. But anyway, I wrote this back in on the 4th of October 2019, because I was like, you know, I was trying to explain basically the concepts of. I was trying to explain for myself the concepts of the unmoving realization of the nature of the mind, for one, and the cyclical experience that we have, that life is, etc. So, I mean, I wrote that and I wrote that a long time ago, but I didn't want to. I thought, are people going to be interested in that? Anyway, now I know that you guys wanted to know more about this type of higher learning. You wanting to sort of find out a little bit more about Reiki and about the books that I talk about, so the Gnostic Gospels and the Tibetan Book of the Dead. You wanting to know a little bit more about those things, that the teachings, if you will. So I will have more time. So as I said, once you see next week, hopefully be Monday, because I'm going to be doing them all, finishing this weekend. So hopefully it'll be Monday afternoon. So when you come on at like 11 o'clock or whatever to get your, Monday morning to get your daily flush, you'll also get hopefully your individual story time reading. So I'm hoping I get them finished and uploaded for Monday. But anyway, it'll be Tuesday than that. But anyway, after you see, you're like, oh right, that's why she can do it. So I'll do those readings. And then I'll be able to add in the extra stuff that we want to see as well. Okay, my darlings. It has been, as always, a lovely time with you all this week. Don't forget, the link below is for yesterday's reading, but you can find all the daily pulses in their brand new playlist, in their own playlist, along with, as well, in its own playlist, everything in the Key Wisdom playlist, which is all about mindfulness, meditation, Reiki and tarot. And that is the playlist which is by far the most popular and has always been the most popular on my channel. So definitely check that out over this weekend. I am there with you. You are here with me. We are all here together, and we definitely feel that connection this weekend as well. Have a wonderful weekend, my darlings, and I will see you all again on Monday with your brand new readings, hopefully for the individual star signs as well. But I'll definitely be back on Monday with brand new content. Okay, my darlings, take care. Bye.